these two players here just standing there. Come on.
If you've got an army, have it shooting at something.
Yeah.
This is AllReasonNoLogic's road to OS 25. Join us as Tom battles to double his OS starting at 12. Hit subscribe and leave your comments and tips. To the battlefield commanders.
Yeah, this one was
This was rough.
Yep. But it's worth casting because this is a really important lesson for anyone that actually wants to climb the ladder. You're going to end up in situations like this, and you have to know what you're going to do in those situations.
And also, this is going to demonstrate why you're going to do these things and stick at it for the whole game. Interesting stuff.
So having a
solar.
little bit greedy right there, and it doesn't quite work out for you. You essentially, when you're going, there are maps which allow for you to go, well, not even just, if the mechs are all within range, you can actually go triple mechs into solar, because a solar does not cost energy to produce. However, one solar plus your comm isn't enough to build the T2 lab. You can technically go one solar, one wind into the T1 lab, but I would highly recommend going one solar, two wind into it. If you're going to go vehicles, three wind. And that's a really solid starting build that you can just utilize, not think about, and then when you're deeper into the game, you can start to make it a little bit more efficient. But it is up to you. Just a big note on maps like this one. Do bear in mind that if you do like tick aggression, ticks cannot cross this water. And there are plenty of maps like that.
More than one tick.
Oh, look, ticks! I didn't know those were coming. How could I have predicted that? It's almost like Tank Tom goes bots and always gets a couple of pawns and ticks to do some early aggression.
One thing I always forget about this map, speaking of wind and eco at the start, get one constructor, or once you get these bases up, get your commander even to go down here, or buy a constructor off of the sea player, or the river player. The title speed's 23.
Yeah, that's... I didn't even think of
completely.
this.
Yeah, like just a nice little down in that corner there. Tasty.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty safe too if you put them right in the back as well.
What I'm liking out of your team right now is it looks like you've got res bots. Instead of reclaiming the rocks in your base, you've gone straight to the front line. You can see 300 here, and then two lots of 225 there and there on your screen. So almost 1,000 metal in the middle of the map that looks like it's going to be uncontested. Only a few boats which can't get to these positions unless they've got some good vision.
And that extra metal is an absolute boon because the win condition for controlling this map is usually controlling this archipelago of islands. Not always, but a lot of the time this archipelago of islands is critical because these control the laneways into the base as well as the ability to dip down and affect units coming through from the other lanes. I would say that this is usually the most volatile.
Sorry, what was that? Missed that.
If you control the top, then you control those 3 lanes in their entirety.
Just testing something out. Yeah, you can. Getting an agitator up there or gauntlet. That would be tasty.
Oh, that'd be rough.
Tactics for the
How
future.
do you get it up there? Oh, how would you even get it up there, though?
The constructor would be able to walk near it, I think.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll have to test that one out sometime.
Let us know if you've tried that before, but that would be a juicy spot to take control of that navy.
Now,
and really everything up here.
Let's have a chat about something that we can see on the map right now. And this is a bit of a start to what we were alluding to. Where are light pink's units and where are teal's units?
Yeah, teal's
Not
up here
in the middle.
taking your lane. Looks like blue did go up here as well. I did see their units before they came up and went up this way here. So it looks like a little bit of 2 versus 1 against you right now. Only a commander at the moment, but it's only going to get worse, FYI.
This was where I knew that we were definitely up against Legion. Because the Decurions were the bane of my existence.
They do.
Decurions are a ridiculously good unit for the cost. These fill a similar role to the Pounder, but rather than having one shot that overkills things, they're able to drill into any target with very, very easily, with essentially perfect DPS. You will kill things with the exact amount of damage they need to die. They're very tanky, and as they level up, they start becoming absolutely ridiculous.
C lanes looking quite even at the moment. They're very important. You often see higher OS players going to these C lanes. I mean, Tortoise has the Silver Chevron, so a lot of experience there. Karma at a similar OS, so anyone's game there. Looks like the lanes are being formed through the middle. Maybe slightly in the advantage of your team down south. By the looks, you got Small, one of the AllReasonNoLogic regulars. Hello. Jumping down here with Cortex vehicles, we'll come back to that, see how they go. We've got the highest OS in the game. Is it in the game actually? Let's check. Who are you against?
No, Rife is the highest in the game. The blue player that is Tank Tom's direct opponent. But this is what I was alluding to before. Tank Tom, isn't your direct opponent blue?
Yeah, not light blue. Yeah, not cyan.
And wouldn't Pink's direct opponent be teal?
Ideally.
That's so weird. Why isn't Pink helping? Or if they're not going to help, why isn't Pink doing anything?
Yeah,
If Pink has a free lane to run down, why not?
And that's what we showed in the last game. If you don't necessarily have to be fighting your front, but if you can be fighting behind someone else's, just as good. Although there's not huge amounts of pressure coming out of Pink or Orange in the middle at the moment.
Yeah, look at this note here. Push, your opponent is in yellow's lane. So I'm one of your teammates noticing that and taking the cursor away. I don't think these units are being microed too well, just being sent in. I mean,
they just got sacrificed for nothing.
4 chevrons, no excuses on this. I'm sorry to point you out. I'm not going to mention your name, but yeah, you got to play the game as a team. And now Tom's taking on units that he cannot outrange. I mean, rushing them right now is probably the best bet. Oh no, you did make a mistake there, Tom. I would have committed to that. You probably actually
they would have all died. I'm sorry to say, Decurions are that strong. There was no chance of even killing one there.
Oh, yeah, 100% would have killed one. 100% would have killed one.
No way.
One, but that wouldn't have necessarily.
Look at how much damage those Decurions are doing.
Yeah, pawns do a lot.
The only reason that all those units aren't dead is because they targeted the comm.
Yeah.
Now this brings us to what you actually need to do about Decurions. If the player is building nothing but Decurions, which is exactly what they're doing, you need to build nothing but rocket bots, because the rocket bots outrange, outskirmish. You've got a speed of 45 versus a speed of 51, which means that you can always stay outside of range, and the rocket bot has a range of 475 compared to the Decurion's 380. And so you just have to constantly micro the front line, put those missiles down into the Decurion, and do not stop. The other thing that's really important to do is make sure you always have more than 500 energy, because you are going to be degunning these Decurions. The Decurions, whilst they do really good against a lot of small things, they do take a while to kill the comm, and you will end up using your comm to fight these. The LOTs are a decent idea. They do outrange the Decurions, but it really is going to be down to rocket bots for this one. And when you do identify that that the player that's supposed to be fighting them is just going to continuously send units at them and lose them, as well as holding something that isn't their lane, you need to make the best calls you possibly can to hold on the longest, to hope that the fact that there are too many players fighting you, or fighting above, or fighting where they're not supposed to,
well, this is what happened up here.
Able to, yeah,
and
that's what I was going to get to next.
2 commanders. Blue just sent their thugs up. And then boom, constantly with the vehicle aggression. So this player here is either on a 2 vs 1 or a 3 vs 1, and then similarly you're often in a 2 vs 1, which we'll see probably shortly. Just with where Rife's collecting his units. These 2 players here just standing there. Come on.
If you've got an army, have it shooting at something.
Yeah.
Also, try not to fight up to high ground. They're fighting over here against the light blue and the green, and they're just taking damage, significantly more damage than they're dealing. You've got to pick where you fight. Also,
having
just
some-
a quick one from the comments. I don't want to hear anyone in the comments saying like Tank Tom did badly in this one. This is the first time Tank Tom's had to go up against Legion in a ranked game. I do not think that many people have had to deal with Decurion spam up to this point, and so trying to work out what to do, especially when it's not what you were expecting, and you're trying to get yourself back into your lane. Yes, there are things that you can look at in hindsight for this one, and there's a lot of stuff we want to talk about what to do in hindsight of this one. But 100%, this is in ranked conditions. You tend to have to learn through. You have to learn.
You're learning on the fly.
Exactly. And when you're put in a position where you're up against two players, essentially,
one of them, which
you do what
huge
you can.
OS as well, 29 OS right now. So they're just going in with all these thugs, and you can't really leave the front line as well because Rap Chaos is there with the Decurions, and Pink and Orange are just standing there. I mean, Orange is doing a little bit down here. I can't pick on them as much, but Pink just not microing or helping enough. Only reacting to being told. They're calling for the help there. And just if they pushed at any point in time here, just pick off those units that are coming in one by one.
Yeah, I was aware that I had the blue that was advancing on my base, as well as trying not to lose the front line at the same time. So I'm fairly split. I know from this point, I'm basically on the back foot defensive. I know that I'm not going to be able to push out this lane anymore, and it's basically just hold.
Yeah,
hold the
really
line.
Good.
Try not to lose your base. Hope for the best.
Really good call in how you're defending this. You've got yourself a beamer, you're pulling back, and now you're going and engaging only half of the army at once.
Yeah, I knew.
This is what you have to do when you're in
into them.
Yep.
But if you start from one end, I was hoping to make it to the other end before I ran out of units, and I knew that the beamer was at that end ready to fire, which is why I started on the southern side, because I knew there was going to be damage coming from the top side, and hoping it was going to be enough. I managed to get units back to save the Geo, which was fantastic, because I was rather concerned at that. And at this point, my big issue is no longer my base, it is running from the front line.
So just to put in perspective what that trade was, you lost 1 beamer and 3 pawns, and they lost 12 thugs.
And there's 1,000 metal sitting in my base.
Are you doing it?
Point,
going to the deep. Smart way to
Yes.
get
How
out of
is
that.
your comm alive?
Dance. I was not
move.
expecting my comm to live, but I knew I wasn't going to get him across the bridge.
Really
Yikes.
interesting thing to note there, the pawn guns are actually under the water as compared to the thug guns, which are above, which means that with the unit composition that you have right now, you have 0 ability to engage if they're fighting you on those ramps.
Thankfully, I had enough to make them turn around, which gives me a little bit of time to try and catch my breath. But I know it's going to be a rough fight from this point out.
And that's the thing, when you're in this situation, you have to do the best that you can. You are now on the defensive, because if you look at the very bottom half of the map,
There goes
you
the problem.
have Small and Die Too Hard that are currently, I would say that they're slightly ahead here, but they're also doing, they've also done a T2 transition, and they're getting themselves Azar. This bottom area is a win condition right now. So as long as the top does not fall, the bottom can clean this up, because all they have to do is get past this one player that's surviving entirely off of LLTs that are about to be outranged by Azar, and your team has a clear run to destroy all of the eco.
It's probably worth noting that at this point, I didn't have any concentration left to care about what was going on elsewhere. So I had no idea what was going on in this bottom half of the map, but I knew that I hadn't fallen yet. And sooner or later, I noticed that the bottom side was doing okay, and I was like, cool, my job is survive long enough.
Now, this is a really good thing that you're doing, even though the light pink player has been not so great. It's still better to have them than not to have them. So you're sending your units in.
Full.
Exactly.
Oh, I didn't see that. Sorry, guys. I was like, what are they talking about?
This is something
base.
where
The things were on the way down here. I had some units, so it was basically throw them at the army, make some metal, rinse and repeat.
But the downside of that is that now you have to deal with this coming across
Yes.
the water bridge at the moment.
Dun 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 dun, dun. And I
You're one of the
didn't have.
best, one of the greatest saving graces that you have right now. The com has not been healing these units all that much. They were really good at it at the beginning, but they have not done it so much. And beamers do decent damage. The thugs survive decently, and he's not microing them. He's just running them in. You are going to lose some constructors. You're going to lose some thugs, but you're taking them out one by one. This is your mistake. Oh, sorry. Yeah, maces. This is your mistake right here, but you're doing it now. You could have gotten your com in much, much earlier and done those D guns, and those D guns are as I was saying at the beginning of this one, almost like I had foresight. D guns are a great way of dealing with Decurions.
The knock-on effect just keeps on happening. We've got another 2 versus 1. It looks like the Peninsula has been lost now that Rife has T2, so it's really a race. It looks like we've got Bird Alarm here with T2. You're obviously distracted with someone that's not from your lane. So we've got two versus 1 and a 1 versus 1 here, and then finally we're seeing some pawns going through from this player.
It must have been somewhere around this time. Someone put Tsar crawling over in the chat, and I knew that I couldn't see it, so it wasn't up here, and it meant that someone down the bottom was doing good things. So I knew at this point, if I held long enough, they were probably going to win that side.
Yeah,
I like this. Brown with the Tsar, pink with the banishes. We've got some radar. We have a Obscura there. Only thing I'd like to see is the radar bot so that they can march on through. Maybe the com will go through with their radar. If you just check out the player view, you can see the com's radar. No, you can't because it's within the current radar. Oh, there is a radar bot. Must have been behind a tree. There is a omen. It's like, why is that radar moving? Sniper.
There we go. Now the bottom is through. This game is now on a timer. The problem is that the timer is technically for both teams. The top of your team on the top is looking like they're about to lose the top. Their team on the bottom is looking like they're about to lose the bottom. Thankfully, losing the bottom is worse for the team than losing the top. But the top is some of their best players, so this will turn into something.
You did. And he's down as 1.25.
That pink player coming up, getting that surround, making it so they couldn't escape.
T2 boats. There are T2 boats. Your player has gone into the death spot. Probably not the right unit choice at this point of the game. I'd like to see some Buccaneers out. Just a little bit cheaper, and you get them out of fire. Or fire ships actually go all right.
Sacrificial res bot. Eating what I could.
Yeah. Oh, we do have a push north here. Oh no, and the player north of you has gone into an air transition. That's terrible timing, actually. Going from bots into air.
Is no AA though, so there's possibility here, but the problem is that these are shurikens. Shurikens go down into a single missile, and the comms are on the front line, which means that popping down some AAs a very big potential.
Yeah.
Also, that was a...
This is not going well for Battle Arm. That was morphines for Battle Arm.
That was a really bad trade. I don't know why that was as bad as it was, but that was a really bad trade.
It was probably even damage from the Fiends on both sides. Both of them had the surrounds. Plus, there was the blue side had the Sheldons firing. I've tried to come up to support them. Realized they're all going to die, so I went, they're going to come back and sit in front of my base until they can be useful again.
Just peeking down the bottom, we're at 8 minutes 15, and we've got a bunch of Tigers coming through from red, so breaking through on 3 lanes on the bottom. The saving grace is these bottom line plays. Hopefully orange and pink can keep the pressure on the middle of the map whilst these players run on through, because it looks like there is not much of an answer here. Everyone's transitioned into T2. Yeah, we got Eco coming up here. You need to cancel this and just go purely into units. And purple, maybe a defensive. No lab there. The lab's on the front line.
Despite the fact we've been on the back foot the entire time, we've managed to not lose any players.
Just seeing these
And in this-
shurikens get pulled and you've sent your entire army north to try and distract. I don't mind that. Probably the best trade you're going to get against this T2. We do have some bombers going through trying to snipe that commander, but bumped up and going down to the anti-air.
However, if they'd managed to get the comm, that would have been great. I reckon the timing could have been a little bit better if they'd been sent in before the shurikens to try and snipe that comm. You would have had a much better shot as getting that one. But at the end of the day, you have to make those sorts of judgment calls. Sometimes you'll want to deal with the army. Sometimes you want to deal with the comm. Just have to bear in mind what you're going to do. And Tank Tom taking really good advantage of those shurikens, trying to get the best trade that you could.
Knowing that I was still T1, I wasn't going to be able to do much against the T2. When half of them are stunned, it was the best we were going to get, so we tried to make the most of it.
Yeah. So Fiend's pushing in right now. Bird Alarm's commander hiding there. There's not the right units, throwing down some twin guards just to try and take out those Fiends. But once these Sheldons get there, that's not going to be. Here we go. You go down to the D guns.
Now, Tank Tom, big mistake just here. You're actively controlling the comm, but you've only just turned the cloak on.
I think it's... yeah, it was visible before.
It definitely was visible before. But the crazy thing is, this player has seen that you have an invisible comm here. They watched it turn invisible, and look how grouped those tanks are.
I was so grateful these were all in a big group.
Not only were they in a big group, you did that correctly. I've seen so many people during King of the Hills where they will D-gun at the edge of the comms range. You do not have to. You need to D-gun at the edge of your visible range, which is that tiny little circle around the comm that you can only see when you zoom in and that it flashes.
Oh boy.
Just wait till you're well in there to get those D-guns off so that you can get maximum range and hit maximum units.
I've seen what's going on above me, and I've got beamers going up at the back of my base. Not expecting they're going to stop anything, but they might delay it just long enough.
And they have, because the game is over. And a really good hold out of you, Tom. Just as the base north of yours was falling, that was as good as dead. Apologies everyone for the anger we showed in this one and the prejudice we showed against a couple of players. But it is just so frustrating when such obvious things are happening in a mid-level lobby. This wasn't a noob lobby. This was players that have over, I think, what's 4 chefs? 100 hours experience plus. You gotta play a role in a lanes match. It's not glitters, it's not Supreme Isthmus, you're not playing eco. It's get units and play the game against your opponents. Make sure you help out your neighbours. It is important to do that, or else games will be lost. Just so lucky that the South managed to break their lines whilst you held Tom.
Shout out to Small getting that T2 vehicles out and being able to crush through that bottom side and roll up through.
Yeah, it's nicely done.
And that's the thing, though. During your climb, you're going to end up in situations like this one. Take it as an opportunity to do the best you can do, but don't take the loss too hard, because it is a team game. You do need a team to win it most of the time. And also, if you do run into something new that you haven't come across before and you think afterwards, man, I should have done this, good. Think about it. Work out how to beat it, so then you're ready for it next time. I know for a fact that the next time Tank Tom has to deal with Decurions, is going to have a much better time of it.
Yeah, that's for sure. And damage dealt really visible there, how much damage you're doing throughout the whole match. Constant aggression, constantly trying to take out units and holding off the enemy. Blue also doing just so much damage, especially after that T2 transition. So well done, well played, but unfortunately a loss for the blue team. Okay.
But a win for Tank Tom. So that's all that matters.
One step closer to your heels, bro.
That's all right. I'm looking forward to it. I want to do the road to 30. And on that one, we're going to jump out of this one and we will catch you next time. Like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Give Tank Tom a shout out for his absolutely fantastic defenses and dealing with very obscure situations.